I'm John Husky. I'm president of Meta Housing Corporation.
My name is Ken Long, and I work for Largo Concrete.
My name is Brian Novak, and I work for K&L Gates.
My name is John Mavar, and I own my own construction company, Mavar Construction, Inc.
My name is David Nagel, and I'm the president of a company called Decron Properties Corporation.
My name is John Archibald, and as Senior Vice President of Construction for Kasdan Builders, I was responsible for several $1 billion worth of properties.
We are real estate developers, primarily of senior housing, both affordable and market.
We are a structural concrete subcontractor.
Kasdan Builders was a real estate developer.
We're a rather large firm, but we have general IP, litigation, corporate, and patent prosecution.
We're in both the real estate development and real estate investment business.
We specialize in dealing with owners and developers in evaluating and analyzing their construction needs for primarily multifamily and housing, condominiums, and apartments.
I have known and worked closely with Darren Cruz since 1998.
I've known Darren Cruz since the late 1970s.
I've been working with Cobalt since the 2700 Figueroa project in Los Angeles.
I met Darren Cruz in late 2007.
I've worked with Larry and Darren since August of 2009 till the present time.
Our relationship started in 2006.
I find that in this business, at least, and maybe other businesses, that what produces the best products and the best teamwork is a sense that everyone's working for the team. And that means both in-house employees, consulting employees, and contracted companies. If you just take a look at the work product that Meta has done and the number of awards we've won, you'll see why it's been very, very advantageous to us to use Cobalt. And I look forward to a lot more projects with them.
There are always better ways to do it, and I think Cobalt is exceptional in that area, and quite frankly, I mean that. Bring a problem to the company, come up with a solution. 99% of the time that solution is adopted.
The inner workings of Cobalt Construction are quite unique, and I think that in large part is due to Darren. Darren understands the importance of the team concept and has the vision, the knowledge, and the skill to carry it off. This transcends into his employees because they go on retreats, they take time together as a company to share ideas, and I know that Darren places great value in his employees. It's refreshing to see that in today's market.
The word that always comes to mind when I think of Darren and his team is organization. No matter what Darren brings to me as far as an innovation or something he wants to add to a patent application, it's always well organized.
I find that I believe Larry personally has the ability and the knack to select really quality people, demand a high level of excellence, and get it. And it just was translated in the levels of respect, the levels of communication that I saw on a daily basis between the upper level management of Cobalt and the field personnel. It was a very pleasant experience.
I love working with Cobalt because I can depend upon their word to be absolutely as good as their notarized signature. I have done so many large changes and transactions with them based on nothing more than a discussion followed by a handshake, and they've come through.
We don't always have positive relationships with all the general contractors that we work with, but I would certainly rate Cobalt as one of the highest from an enjoyment standpoint. And in our position, I've been in Southern California for 20 years, and I'm dealing with developers on a regular basis, and I have been very comfortable to recommend Cobalt on a number of occasions. And that's just how highly I think of the firm.
The ability for Cobalt to come up with an alternative means and methods so I don't have to move a sewer line or to work with contaminated soil when Cobalt Construction would have benefited greatly by hauling that dirt away, shows the integrity of this man and of his company.
Darren is very trustworthy and very transparent at the same time. If I ask Darren a question, I know that he will give me the answer and he will provide me with the documentation.
I think the key to transparency and trust is organization. If the company's not organized, they're not organized with their paperwork, they're not organized with their backup, all of a sudden that leads to confusion. Confusion all of a sudden leads to gray areas, and gray areas ultimately leads to some feeling of mistrust.
I trust him 100%.
Being trustworthy and transparency is of utmost importance to us. A standard adage that we have in the construction management industry is don't expect, but inspect. I was on the Cobalt job on a daily basis and found that every single time that Cobalt said that something was going to be done, was done. Money and money accountability is obviously extremely important. This was done with complete openness and transparency. Everything that Cobalt told me at all of my inspection points were done precisely as advertised. Very pleased.
In many ways, the high integrity that Darren Cruz and Cobalt have spreads. I think like bad quality things might spread, so do good qualities like trust and integrity spread among people, and it makes it a little easier to do business amongst everyone.
The word that always comes to mind when I think of Darren is innovator. He'll get a team together, they'll go out to a job site with tools that they need to further refine what they had developed, find ways to do it faster, do it cheaper. It's all just a dynamic process.
We had a project of 611 units that had methane and dewatering, and it created a lot of difficulty in the grading process. We had dirt that was contaminated and would have to be sent off and specially handled. Darren found a way to continue grading while taking some of the dirt with which he would have made an extra of almost $2 million and treating that dirt on site with microorganisms, covering it with a tarp, letting the microorganisms eat into the contaminated soil so that I could use it again on site. It's this kind of attitude that has always made Darren somebody who's been our go-to subcontractor when we know there's a difficult site and it needs success. His out-of-the-box thinking, his ability to see problems through the client's eyes is what separates him from others.
Cobalt saved us about $2 million on a $30 million project through value engineering, through aggressive bidding process, and the actions of the buyout team at Cobalt. So we were able to not only meet and exceed the owner's expectations as far as levels of quality and finishes, but also to do it at a below budget fee, and that is extraordinary in my opinion.
On projects where commodities or other pricing increased dramatically during the construction period, and it was necessary to do value engineering to bring the project back within budget, the Cobalt people are really tireless at coming up with ideas of how to save some money. The involvement of senior management at Cobalt for me and for my key people has been both continuous and very high quality.
Either Darren or Larry were present for about 8 months of pre-planning with weekly architectural meetings. Most companies don't do that, and that involvement is what led to the incredible success of this project.
For all of the projects that we've conducted with Cobalt, that they have been very available, and the senior management has been very involved. So if we had a question or I had a question and I called Larry, the vice president at Cobalt, and was asking him questions, he would actually in most cases have an answer for me already, or he would be able to get an answer and respond back to me quickly, which is pretty good considering his position relative to the projects that we were doing for their firm.
One of the keys to my success with Cobalt Construction has been the ability to pick up a phone or to meet Darren on site or others on his team and resolve issues one-on-one. Not email, not long posturing, but simply get to the point, figure it out, and work as a team. I value that highly, and it's something that makes Cobalt stand apart.
I worked with Larry Persons in detail during our pre-construction phase and during our contract phase. And I was pleasantly surprised to see, as the senior executive of Cobalt, he attended and was intimately involved in our weekly coordination meetings here on site.
What I will say is, from a personality standpoint, Darren and Larry, they're a good tag team. Different personalities.
The thing that I liked most about Cobalt's senior management, once again Larry and Darren, is their example that they placed on all of their other employees of demanding excellence and providing excellence to the client, and never letting details slip away.
And I think those two personalities then ultimately worked well with us. Beginning, we were dealing more with Darren. As the construction started, we were dealing more with Larry, but it was always a relationship where we always felt that we could call either of them depending on what was going on.
In my history with Darren Cruz and with hundreds of other subcontractors, there's certain things that make people stand out. In Cobalt's case, I have not been able to buy somebody better. Somebody that cared about the client, somebody that brought value engineering to the table, sometimes at their own cost, and made the project work. That's the real value in Cobalt Construction.
I would say, out of my 35 years of experience, this has been the smoothest job that I've ever had.
Clearly, these are smart guys that have true engineering and construction experience. They're guys who have good integrity. I think they're probably a good partner to have in any business that you go through. And those are probably all the same criteria. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You want to associate yourself with smart people, guys who know how to solve problems, and I think that's what they are. They're problem solvers, and I think if that's what you're looking for, then you got the right guys.